A lot has changed. We are transforming quickly in the Plath family.
Hello and welcome to Happily Ever Reality. I am so glad you're here. Today we are talking about Welcome to Plathville, Season 5, Episode 1. You guys, this show always gets to me because I feel so conflicted. I don't know how I feel about anyone on the show, particularly Kim and Olivia. It's just so hard for me to figure out what is going on there. There's things I don't like about both of them. There's things that I have, I feel compassion for them about certain things. It's just really tough. To me, this is a show where there's no clear bad person. It's just a bunch of people who have been through bad things that are leading to, it's trauma. So it's leading to them making choices that might not be working the best for them. Let's jump into talking about this newest episode. It starts off with Ethan and Olivia. We find out that they have spent 2 months traveling around Europe. Honestly, it looked like an amazing trip. There are still a lot of issues between the two of them, but it does sound like they are working things out, at least while they are away from the rest of the Plath family. Olivia mentions that she feels like Micah and Moriah will still talk bad about her behind her back, but she feels like when she is with Ethan alone and he's away from his siblings, they are getting along much better than they were before. After that, we move over to Micah. He is still in LA, but now he has his own place and he loves it. It's really a nice apartment. He's still doing modeling, both professionally and when he looks at himself in the mirror. If you haven't actually watched this episode yet, I will tell you, they have him looking at himself in the mirror for a little bit, and it's just kind of funny to watch. He does get some modeling work over on the East Coast, and he likes it because when he's there, he can go see his family. Now, Micah ends up bringing up some of the stuff that happened in the previous season. He talks about the stuff with Olivia and what she had said about Kim and the credit cards. Olivia had made some pretty serious accusations.
His mom was using his credit card and buying things for herself and not paying him back.
So if you remember last season, Olivia said she changed the passwords and then Kim got really mad at her. Micah talks about this and his story is a little bit different.
It was about a multi-level marketing company that she helped Ethan get started in.
So from what I could put together from this, and I could be wrong, according to Micah, Kim was using the credit card, making some purchases, and then giving Ethan the money that was earned from the sale of those goods in this MLM company. Now, Micah doesn't say all of that, but he does say that Ethan was making money. So I'm sort of filling in the gaps. If someone has more of an idea of what Kim is saying actually happened, go ahead and let me know in the comments. So Micah and the other Plath kids are really upset with Olivia for going public and accusing their mom of using the credit cards. But here's the thing. It's still not a great, the excuse here is still not good. It's sort of shady. Like, why was Kim doing this? Why wasn't Ethan in control of it? If Ethan wanted to do it, why didn't he make the purchases himself? Why doesn't he know the password to his credit card? Why does he feel like he can't tell his mom to stop? Like, there's a lot of things here that still don't add up to me. But the Plath children are very upset with Olivia for going public with this. But here's my thing. Is it any better because of Kim's excuse? Nah, not really. It still doesn't look good on her. But at the end of the day, what I think the kids need to realize is as much as Ethan is committed to Olivia, they have their issues and they have separated before. I think if Olivia was making up a flat out lie, Ethan would have left. Do I think that Olivia is frequently very negative and extremely emotional? Yes, absolutely. Do I think she has made mistakes when it comes to her relationship with the Plath family? Yes, I do. Do I think she's lying about Kim? I don't think so. I don't think she's lying about it. She was too matter of fact about what happened, and the fact that Ethan didn't deny it or even leave her over it was all the proof I needed, because as much as Ethan loves her, I do think he would have left if it was a flat out lie. And Kim has had a lot of control over those kids when they were growing up. I just think Kim kept doing it, and then when Olivia came in and she didn't have all of that control, I think there became a little bit of a battle between the two of them. From there, we go over to Moriah. She is doing well. She is a bartender. She's got her own apartment. It's really cute. She's got a cute little dog. Things in her life seem to be going pretty good, but just not her relationship with Olivia and Ethan. While Ethan and Olivia were in Europe, she moved out without really telling them. You know, she was renting that room in the home they were all renting together. She was paying a portion of the rent, and she just left. It sounds like things were just too much for her when Olivia went public with the credit card story. It just pushed her over the edge, and she needed to leave. She said that Olivia is often very negative, and we see that with Olivia. Olivia does not feel good about Kim and Barry or being around them, but I think it began to be too much for Moriah, and just staying in that house wasn't an option for her anymore. So she has left, and she seems to be doing really well. From there, we go over to Kim and Barry. We find out they are still in the process of divorcing. They are living separate still. Kim wanted to stay in the house with the kids, but Barry wouldn't leave, so she's now living in an apartment above the dance studio. And there's just something that has always stayed with me about Kim and the divorce. Many seasons ago, Kim had talked about Max's mother being married more than once. And I'm just going to throw the clip in so you can see it if you've never seen it or if you've forgotten about it. Just watch Kim when she talks about Max's mother.
She's divorced and remarried, and I'm still on my first husband.
Isn't it funny how being a judgy person often comes back to get you? You know what I mean? You judge somebody, and then suddenly, without even thinking it's going to happen, you do something similar to what you were judging the other person for. It just always seems to happen that way. And we got to see it here with Kim Plath. She's laughing about Max's mother being on her second marriage, and now Kim is getting a divorce. And what's even more crazy is Barry is on his second marriage. Barry has been married before. So I don't know why this was funny to her. But there's also another part of this. She says that she feels she's going to possibly lose the trust of her children, lose the respect of the conservative community, and lose some friends. Yeah, you're going to do that because you've surrounded yourself with judgy people, and you used to be one of them, Kim. You were one of those judgy people that judged other people for getting a divorce. Now you're getting their judgment. Now you're on the other side of it. So now you know what it feels like. After that, we go back to seeing Olivia and Ethan in Paris. We find out that their trip together is coming to an end because Ethan is going to be going home to do some work that he needs to do, and Olivia is going to continue to travel. She's going to go to the Netherlands. During a conversation between the two of them, Ethan confirms that there is truth to what Olivia said about the credit cards.
What Olivia said happened. I mean, there's no disputing that, and it was a problem.
So there is Ethan confirming that it actually happened. And to be honest with you, at the beginning of the show when Micah explained that Kim was using the credit card for the MLM, again, that wasn't actually denying that she was using the credit card. It was just making up an excuse as to why she was using the credit card and saying that Ethan knew about it. I bet Ethan did realize his mom was using his credit card, but he didn't know how to stop it. And that's not okay. So I think there's a lot of truth to the story. I believe what Ethan is saying. I think if Olivia was lying, he would have stood up for his mom. So that's how I feel. Let me know in the comments if you guys disagree with that. But that is not all that Ethan says. He mentions that he felt like this was an issue that was resolved, and he was okay with the resolution. Like, he felt as if this was something that was just supposed to be put in the past. From there, we go over to the Plath house where we see Barry and the kids at home. Barry has turned to working out and weightlifting to help him get through the changes that are happening.
That's better.
And honestly, here's my thing. Barry is a bit of an odd character, but he seems to be doing okay. There is a part of the show where Lydia says she feels like all of the kids are doing well because Barry is doing well. And after this, we see Ethan make it home. He gets back to the house, and the house is empty. Nathan, Olivia's brother, is gone. He's at work, and Moriah left a note saying that she had moved out and that she wanted to talk at some point. Now, Ethan had no idea that Moriah was moving out, so this is new to him. He thought she was going to be staying for several weeks after he got home. Now, it's important to remember that Moriah had made the decision to leave early because she didn't want to see Olivia. So they're still communicating with Ethan, but no one in the Plath family is talking to Olivia because of the credit card story. All of the Plath children, not Ethan, all of the other Plath children had made a statement online about the situation, and so they are just done with Olivia at this point.
I feel like I'm caught in the middle between Olivia and my family, and yeah, I'm just so tired of all the nonsense.
Nathan comes home, and Ethan and him are talking, and we find out that Olivia and Ethan are going to be moving to Minnesota next. They had this goal of living in 3 places in 3 years. Minnesota is Ethan's choice. From there, the show jumps over to Barry's house. Kim is over at the home with Barry because Micah and Moriah are going to be visiting. And they're going over there to talk about this whole credit card story. Now, all of the Plath children, the older Plath children, made a statement publicly defending their mother. And they're there to talk about that. Kim really appreciates their support. I will admit it was a little bit difficult for me to watch. I found myself more upset than I thought I would be over the fact that poor Moriah and poor Micah are not going to be able to see clearly in this situation because they're defending their mother so much. Now, obviously, if she took this credit card and did not have permission to use it, that is illegal. That is a crime. But let's just take that out of the equation. Let's forget that part. Let's assume that Ethan knew. Maybe Ethan said, hey, Mom, you know, if you do need it or you need something, I'll help you out. I could see Ethan doing that. I could actually see any one of the Plath children offering to help Kim and Barry out. They seem to be very generous kids who love their families. Let's say he offered to help out, or let's say the MLM story is true. Maybe she was like, I'm going to be making purchases for this MLM business. And he said, go ahead and do it, Mom. Here's the problem. Even if she had permission, he did not know the password to his account, and he clearly did not know how to stop it. And then Olivia comes into the picture, and she puts an end to it. That is just an unhealthy relationship right there between a mother and a son. If his son does not know how to say, Mom, quit using my credit card. Now, Kim does have something to say about the credit card story during a confessional. I'm going to go ahead and put in a clip of her talking about it here.
As far as the credit card story goes, I know my truth. Olivia has her truth, but I'm not going to fight that battle.
She goes on to say that she's tired of defending herself against what Olivia is always saying about her. I have to be honest, I just think she's done with this because no matter what happens, none of it is going to make her look good. Let me know what you guys think is actually going on with that situation in the comments. There's just one more thing I got to say about this. I hope Kim and Barry don't see Micah and Moriah siding with them and defending them as an actual win, because it's not. You could take Olivia out of this family and there are still issues there. There are still things they need to work on. Olivia is a part of it, but Olivia is not all of it. So even if Olivia is removed, they still have their own share of problems. I do think it's interesting to watch the evolution of these children as they enter adulthood, because they were overprotected and isolated so much, and then they go out and they enter the world, and you know, they're kind of, I don't want to say rebelling, but they're branching out. I think that's more appropriate. They're kind of figuring out who they are. They're going out and doing their own thing. And then there is this part where Micah talks about realizing that the things in his childhood that he thought he didn't like for a while, he has now realized he actually enjoyed. I'm going to put a clip in of Micah talking about what it was like growing up in the Plath house.
To chop down trees and to build things. I'm thankful for a lot of how I was raised.
That clip actually comes from a part of the show where they are talking about Olivia. And what you need to remember this whole time we have Olivia on the show is that she was raised in a family that was very similar to the Plaths. They were a large homeschooling Christian family. They were sheltered from the outside world, and I think Olivia really has a lot of problems with that, and it plays a huge role in how she talks about the Plath family. So I think what Micah is saying is Olivia is always pointing out the negatives of how they were raised. And when Micah and Moriah first moved out of the house and were trying to be more independent, they were really depending on Olivia to help them do that, because she had left a family similar to theirs and went out there and had her own business and was exploring the world and doing new things. They wanted to do that, so they depended on her. And then she was saying all of these negative things about how they were raised, and they just started to believe it. But now that they're on their own and they're away from her, they're able to see that some of the things about how they were raised, some of those things were good. And Mike is saying in that clip, he appreciates that he grew up on a farm on a big piece of land, and they were outside, and they weren't on the internet all the time, and they weren't just holding tablets and phones. So there was a good side to it. But Micah and Moriah are concerned because Ethan, being married to Olivia, has all the negatives pointed out all the time, and no one is really there to point out that some of the things during his childhood might have actually been good. After this, we see that Olivia has made it back home. She is in Tampa, but her and Ethan are saying goodbye to each other again because he is going to be headed back to Cairo for 2.5 months. Now remember, they're wanting to move to Minnesota, but he has left cars that he's been working on back in Cairo. He needs to get those out of the shop they're in, so he's going to be living there and trying to finish those cars up. And Olivia seems really, really worried about this, worried about the distance between them, the fact that Ethan might not communicate with her much, and she seems really worried about him being near his family. Now, he tries to reassure her that he's going to communicate with her, that he'll, the family situation's not going to influence anything. But I just think that Olivia is worried his family is going to end up being the end of their marriage. And so she seems stressed about this, but she is also not willing to go back there herself. So that is where the show ends. Guys, the drama in this family is crazy. It's just wild. And it's such a weird thing because it's tough. I don't like him because of the part of her that's controlling, but I don't necessarily think everything she did, I don't think she had bad intentions with everything she did. She wasn't not feeding her kids or abusing them, at least not from what we see. But it feels like she was too controlling and isolating them. She made mistakes, but she's talked about trauma she's had in her own life, and I wonder if it just made her want to protect her kids with everything she had. And then you've got Olivia, who I think her issues with her own family, because she hasn't resolved them, just roll right over to the Plath family. And poor Ethan, I actually feel so bad for this kid because he seems just stuck in the middle, and I don't think he is someone that likes the drama. But let me know what you guys think. I am sure plenty of you are going to disagree with me because this show is a tough one for me. Sometimes I'll feel one way about somebody and then later feel another way, and I don't even know. The next video may be completely different. I may be saying different things. Who knows? But let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, go ahead and click like and subscribe and come back to Happily Ever Reality.